Nepal, an ancient land full of mystery and allure. Rich with natural wonders and ancient religious sites, populated by Buddhists, Hindus, and Muslims who can trace their roots back thousands of years. Nepal has seen its tourism base grow into a bustling industry. Travelers from around the globe can find almost anything within Nepal's densely crowded streets. From trekking outfitters to the latest mountaineering equipment to more traditional souvenirs and handicrafts. The country boasts magnificent and diverse geography, from the highest summit of Mount Everest at over 8,000 meters to the low-lying valleys, which rest only a few hundred meters above sea level. But Nepal is also an extremely poor country. Much of the Nepalese poor live on less than $1 a day, many living in remote and almost inaccessible areas of the country. This oppressive poverty is a major contributor to serious health issues affecting both young and old alike. One of the largest health issues among those impoverished people is preventable blindness. Among these conditions are glaucoma and cataracts. Many of those inflicted will simply lose their sight over time and live the rest of their lives in virtual darkness. But there is hope. The International Resources for the Improvement of Sight, or IRIS, along with the local Nepal Natra Jyoti Sang, or NNJS, have worked together to bring the gift of sight to the people around the village of Arogat in the Gorkha district of Nepal. This is where their story begins.
My name is Roger Biggs. I'm the Director of Programs for International Resources for the Improvement of Sight, or IRIS as it's known, which is an international non-governmental organization that was founded in 1996 by the founders Michel Claudel and John Stewart in response to eye care needs that they found amongst poor people in Cambodia. IRIS is a charitable foundation that's registered in Switzerland, the USA, France and England, mainly for fundraising purposes. Serving on the Board of Trustees are two very experienced British ophthalmologists, Andy Richards and John Stanford Smith, who themselves have made a significant contribution to eye care development in developing countries and who advise on all medical matters. Since 1996, the eye care programs IRIS has been supporting in Cambodia, Nepal and Sri Lanka have provided eye examinations to 225,000 people, given 43,200 visually impaired people a pair of glasses free of charge, and performed 63,600 sight restoration surgeries, the majority of which were for cataracts. The IRIS program in Nepal, which started in 1998, was as a result of IRIS founders meeting Dr. Balkumar Casey, who is a Nepalese ophthalmologist who came over to Cambodia and worked with IRIS for a number of years. But in Nepal, Casey and a number of other ophthalmologists established IRIS Nepal. And IRIS Nepal ran a program of outreach eye camps in remote areas of Nepal each year, and also established the Telganga Health Center, which was on the outskirts of Kathmandu, and looked at the livelihood and health needs of a community of 500 families of the Dalit caste, which are known as the Untouchables. In October 2011, I went with Michelle Claudel to witness an eye camp that we'd funded through the Betty White Foundation, who gave us funds to support 6 eye camps in 2011. These eye camps were run by another partner organization of IRIS, the NNJS, which is Nepal Natra Jyoti Sangh, which is the coordinating umbrella body for all eye care services in Nepal. This eye camp was held in a village called Aragat, which is in Gorkha district, which is in the hilly region of Nepal. It was extremely well advertised through radio and through announcements, posters put up in the villages, and people came from a tremendous distance around. I can recall one particular woman who was 104 years of age, who had been carried on the back of her grandson in a basket, kind of what they call a Nepalese ambulance. She was carried for 2 days to reach the camp. She was bilaterally blind in both eyes, and I was at the camp when she had surgery to remove cataracts in her first eye, and she could see through that eye. She hadn't seen through that eye for 3 years, I think it was. It was quite remarkable, and she was going to be scheduled to have her second eye done later in the week. Seeing a 104-year-old woman being carried on the back of her grandson for 2 days, coming to a camp, arriving at the camp for the registration and to go through the consultation process was, a really, really moving experience for me. I think the Gorkha camp was an extremely good example of an eye camp being staged in Nepal. It was in a very remote area, very difficult to access. We had over 1,500 people come and attend this camp over the period of 3 days to have consultations with the medical team, to have their visual acuity tested, and then a decision made as to whether or not they would undergo cataract surgery. In the 3 days that Michelle and myself visited the camp, the medical team performed over 130 cataract surgeries, and they were due to stay for another 2 days beyond that to deal with the numbers of people that just kept arriving on a daily basis. It was a remarkable sight. When a patient comes to an eye camp, the first thing they do is obviously they have to register, get their name and details, address and everything, and then they test their visual acuity, which is a fairly straightforward, simple test, just to test their vision. The doctor, ophthalmologist, then examines each patient and determines whether that patient has cataracts or other eye diseases that need treatment or that can be treated. The patient is then scheduled for surgery, and just before surgery they go in and they have their pupils dilated. The biometry is done for these patients, so the doctor knows the power of the intraocular lens that he's going to implant once he takes out the cataract. The patient goes on the operating table. The operation only lasts about 5 minutes from start to finish, and that patient is then taken out and put into the post-operative area. It takes usually about 12 hours, 14 hours for them to begin to see, and then their visual acuity is checked again, and the doctor examines them to make sure that there's been no complications with their cataract surgery. What was remarkable about the camp in Gorkha was that it was conducted in the grounds of a school, a small village school, and the playing field was used for registration and testing patients' vision, but surgeries were conducted in a classroom that